Willie D. Live.
What's up, family? During an interview with Charlemagne the God in 2020, Diddy launched a new political organization called Our Black Party, aimed to focus on Black voices and the political agenda for Black people. That is the reason Diddy was arrested. I hear a lot of people talking that alcohol thing. No, fam. This is a lot bigger. With Diddy's power, with his money, with his connections, that political organization would have given the Democrats and the Republicans a run for their money. See, back in 1996, Larry Hoover spoke on the Ghetto Boys album. In fact, he started the album off, and he talked about how Black folks can kill all the N-words they want to, and ain't nothing gonna happen. But if they go to the polls, it's gonna be a problem. And a lot of people say, well, you know, it ain't gonna matter, you go to the polls. Let me tell you something, fam. If it didn't matter, they wouldn't spend that kind of money on getting elected. They would not spend, they spend more money on trying to get people to the polls and swaying people to their agendas than anything else. This last election cycle, they spent over $1 billion a piece to get their guy in office. If it didn't matter, they wouldn't be spending that kind of money. Think about it, fam. This is just common sense. I get it, not much has changed. But the deal is, these politicians are only going to do as much as they're held accountable to do. Think about it. If you were hired to do a job and you could come in once a month, why would you go in 5 days a week? If you know you can go in once a month and still have your job, why? If you know that you were tasked with, let's say something simple like, I don't know, being a cook, right? At a restaurant. And you didn't have to cook. You can just go and get on your cell phone and you can leave whenever you feel like it. You ain't got to cook nothing. You can just watch everybody else do your job. Why would you do it? Now, I know some people say, well, you do it for the integrity. You do it because, you know, you're keeping your word. Oh, that's fine, fam. But you know, like I know, human beings have to be held accountable. You have to have checks and balances. The reason why the politicians are do-nothing politicians, because their constituents do not force them to do anything. Their constituents allow them to be in office and they re-elect them time and time and time again, as long as they show up and take a picture for their daddy or mama's, daddy and mama's 50th anniversary. As long as they come out to the barbecue, come to the graduation when they're invited, they come to speak at the graduation. And here we go, trying to take pictures. Do nothing politicians, because they have do nothing constituents. That's right, I said it, man. Do nothing constituents. When you vote somebody in office and you don't hold them accountable, if they're out there doing whatever and you're not getting what you want, you're not getting what you signed up for, and you're not reaching out and saying, man, you better do something, and you're not making a change, you're not doing something to get them out of there, then you're gonna have more of the same. So I get it. Diddy is locked up because Diddy dared to start a new political party, one that was already uncompromised. Yeah, see, and that's actually what needs to be done anyway. But it's very difficult to do when the Republicans and the Democrats have such a stronghold on the donors. The donors are afraid. The donors know that there should be change, but they're afraid that if they don't back the Republicans or the Democrats or both, that their money would just be wasted on a third party. So that's why it's so difficult to get one going. with the type of money that Diddy had and the type of friends he had, he could really give the Democrats and the Republicans a run for their money. But this is why Diddy has problems right now. I'm with Larry Hoover. Man, you can kill as many N-words as you want to. You can do whatever you want to. But do not put yourself in a position of power where you can sway an election. I'm talking about real power, where you can say, you can have a block of votes. Think about that, fam. Imagine anybody with a block of votes in the millions. Let's say Diddy don't need all 30 million black folks, or 10 million eligible black voters. All he needs is a block. If he had half, if he had a quarter that could sway an election, if he had 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, that's it. That's all you need. And you can decide where you want to, depending on who give us the best deal, you can decide who to give those 3 million votes to. That's power. That's real power. There are some organizations out there that have similar power. Diddy expressed disillusionment with the current political system, stating that neither the Democratic nor Republican parties have done enough for the black community. He emphasized the need for black people to unify and seize their political power by focusing on a black agenda. He clarified that while he endorsed Joe Biden in the 2020 election, if elected, he would hold him accountable. And a lot of people didn't like that, and I'm talking about on the Democratic side. They don't like it when you call out the Democrats who don't do what they say they're going to do for the Democratic Party. I can see if they're running the Republicans hot, but if they're running their own constituents hot because they're not giving their constituents what they promised them, what are their constituents supposed to do? Just lie down and take it? Larry Hoover said they want to bend you over, put a D in you, and if you wiggle your butt, they consider you rebellious. That is a hell of an analogy. The Democrats don't want Democrats to wiggle their butt when Democrats are trying to run up in them. When Democrats are trying to stick it to them. Democrats need to be held accountable. The Democrat constituents need to get used to holding their elected officials accountable, just as the Republicans hold their elected officials accountable. There's a lot of pressure on Republicans always to do what their constituents want them to do, because they know if they don't, they're not going to be in office long. They get them out of there. I will say that about them. If you don't get them what they want, they getting you out of there. Whereas the Democrats, man, you can be in there for 40, 50 years, man, and doing nothing. And they'll keep on blessing you. See, that's one of the biggest problems, the lack of accountability. Look at it like this, fam. If you had a kid who went to school, slapped the teacher, cussed out the principal, swinging on his classmates all the time, come home and doesn't clean his room or anything and is disobedient, and he wants to go to the party, and you allow him to go to the party, what is the incentive for him to change his behavior? There is none. You cannot reward bad behavior and expect positive results. It don't work like that. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.